Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first official episode of the Path to Progress podcast with me, Jenny. Um, now I don't have, just for starters, I don't have an official intro or outro set up yet, so we're just gonna wing it for now. But, anyways, the topic that was mostly voted on was actually bettering yourself over the summer, and I just wanted to explain what that meant and how to do that exactly, because I know it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways, and I know it will not look the same. And I want to tell you that it will not look the same for every single person. So, just to begin, we're going to talk about what does it mean to better yourself, and then we will talk about why you should do it over the summer, especially if you're a student taking summer break to really work on yourself and focus on yourself, how you can start, and then what exactly you can do. And then maybe I'll go into a little bit throughout those parts. I will go into my own personal experience and how I did that, because I did that summer before sophomore year, and there was a whole bunch of trial and error that I did that I don't want anyone else to go through. So, we're going to begin with what does it mean to better yourself? Now, bettering yourself doesn't only mean physically, it doesn't only mean physically looking better, it also means mentally and emotionally feeling better about yourself. Um, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people have experienced this as well, is that um, your mental, emotional, and physical state have a direct correlation with one another. So if you don't feel good mentally, you're most likely not going to feel good physically, or you're not going to look good physically either. Because if you're in the headspace to where you're you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad or lonely, then you might not have that motivation to really work out or go on walks or do all this type of stuff. And of course, work you have to work on one of them in order for the others to get better. Um, Obviously, you can choose to work on your physical health or your emotional health or your mental health. It doesn't, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter which one you work on. I think it really just depends on what your goals are and what you are wanting to achieve over the summer, or what you want to do for the next school year if you're a student, especially like your goals for the next school year, how you want to change, how you want to improve. And honestly, you have to set goals for yourself, and you have to really try your best to reach those goals. So a very, let's say, common example of a goal that a lot of people I know have over the summer is looking better physically, or working on their style, or like physical appearance. And yes, that can be a goal, but if you don't work on it, and if you aren't able to reach it, then you might want to consider modifying your goal, or really just taking into account what you are and are not able to do, not letting it stop you from setting that goal in any way, but really just taking the action you need to reach your goal is what I'm trying to say. Because if you just keep on planning and planning and planning, it's not going to get you anywhere. But actually doing things, like, let's say, I keep giving examples, but the same example I used previously, like looking better physically, getting more fit. Let's say someone decides to take a week to plan out their entire workout schedule, or find I'm not saying it's not bad to plan. It's good to plan, but you have to keep in mind, after you plan, you have to take action. So there will be a significant difference in someone who chooses to take all their time planning versus someone who chooses to take all their time doing that thing, like working out in the morning, or working out whenever, or even taking a walk. Like, it really makes that much of a difference, taking action versus planning. Now, another thing is also building healthy habits. Um, Throughout the school year, especially towards the end, you're very burnt out. Maybe you're up all night studying for finals, or just trying to cope with the end of the school year, because it's a lot. The end of school year, finals, all that type of stuff, it can be a lot. So you really have to reflect over the summer and look back and really be honest with yourself. Like, what are some bad habits that I just happened to pick up maybe throughout the entire school year that weren't really good for me? And you really have to look at yourself and like reflect and think about like, it was this good for me? Did this work out well for me or not? And one thing I can say right now is pulling all-nighters or staying up late is not really going to do you good. And honestly, it really is better to do these things over the summer. Why? Why is it good to do these things over the summer? Well, you have, obviously, the most obvious thing is you have the free time to do it, or you have more free time compared to the free time you had when you were in school. It's like, and you should use that free time to your advantage to get better, to really focus on yourself and learn who you are. Like, yes, it's only 2 or 3 months of a break that you have, but it will help you in the long run if you take that time to get to know yourself, to really figure. You don't have to know who you are. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that it can help to improve yourself, to reflect, to learn, to grow. So you should really just take the opportunity over the summer too. And then obviously you're building yourself up and you're improving yourself. So then when you go into the next school year, you are that better person. You have those good habits built up. And it's like you feel better when you have good habits starting the next school year, and you know you're going to stick with them, and you know you're not going to suddenly let go of them or maybe not even have started them at all. At least that's what I found, especially as I worked on myself and like started trying out different maybe studying habits or sleep schedules or things like that. That really helped me this last school year, like really lock in, you know? And also you have plenty of alone time over the summer. Like, you really do. If you think about it, like if you maybe you don't have a job yet, you get to spend some time alone, which can be good if you were so drained by all the socializing you had to do during school, which is completely okay. So just take that time to recharge, to really just think about stuff, let stuff settle in, because a lot can happen in like a school year. And obviously, because of this free time, you can really use it to work on projects maybe you haven't been able to, or see people or talk to people you haven't been able to talk to because of the busy schedule that school gave you. And I think being able to take advantage of this can really help you like navigate things better, or like schedule things better. Like, oh, who do I want to reconnect with? Who do I want to talk to? Or even reconsidering your own friendships, like reconsidering your friendships, or just looking back like, maybe this person wasn't that good for me. And you have to be really honest with yourself about who was and who was not maybe the best for you, which I know can be really difficult to do, but it can really be worth it in the long run as well. Also, since it's summer, more sunlight, you have more time to go outside and just enjoy the sunlight, which, as I'm sure a lot of people know, has so many good health benefits and just can help you feel better overall. Like relating back to like the physical, being physically fit, like that example I gave. Like, you have more sunlight, you can go out, you can go take a run, you can like go on hikes, you can take your dog on a walk now, you can do so many more things with more sunlight, which I know it seems obvious, but it's worth pointing out too. And also another thing, which is definitely so valuable to do over the summer, is setting up a good schedule. Like, and I mean like fixing your sleep schedule. I know it's the summer, and I know like it's hard not to like want to stay up late and like talk to people late and all that stuff. And I'm not saying don't do it, because, we're probably a lot of my audiences are teenagers and they want to stay up and they want to do all that stuff. Totally understandable. Go ahead and do that if you want to. But I'm just saying, starting a schedule over the summer, a sleep schedule, especially sleep schedule, is really going to help you, like, know around what time you should go to bed, especially as school starts getting closer and closer. Like, just knowing when you should go to bed, when you should wake up, or even just sitting down and thinking, as when it gets closer to school, of course, just sitting down and thinking, okay, I'll have to wake up at this specific time. What time should I go to bed to get a good amount of sleep? A good amount of sleep. And since the first week of school is usually super chill, usually chill and laid back, use that to your advantage to really get the proper amount of sleep you need. So then your body gets used to it, you get used to it, and I think it really just helps you feel better running off 8 hours of sleep rather than running off 2 or 3 hours of sleep because you stayed up doing an assignment. How can you start? It's really difficult to start, but I feel like once you get going and once you feel that burst of motivation, it really helps you. It's going to help you in the long run. I think that's something that you have to remind yourself of. This is going to help me. It's not going to harm me. And if I don't like something, you have the summer. You can just keep trying different things, keep trying different schedules, learn a bunch of different things, or there's so many things out there, books or tutorials online, or there's we live in a world where the internet is literally, like, the whole world is in our pocket basically. So you can really learn so much by watching podcasts like these or reading books, self-help books specifically. And like I mentioned before, starting with the reflection is going to help you. But don't let that be all you focus on. You know, like how I mentioned, instead of doing so much planning, instead take action. I think that's really important, and you don't have to sit down really and like write down every single detail. You can if you want. I'm sure that can help so many people. But just thinking about what exactly went well last school year that I need to continue next school year. What did not go so well last school year that I do not want to continue, or that I want to cut out completely from my own life, so then it doesn't grow into something even worse. And you have to, like, I've mentioned this before, but being brutally honest with yourself is going to help you. It's going to help you so much. Or even talking with someone, like, hey, maybe like another friend of yours who maybe struggled just as much as you did, or maybe you guys found something in common that you both, like a bad habit that you guys both have that maybe wasn't that you guys don't want to continue into the next school year, especially. You really have to keep in mind that no one is perfect. No one will ever be perfect. And even just by listening to podcasts like these, or doing anything, or even thinking about bettering yourself, is already a step in the right direction. And you have to be really patient with yourself. You have to be very kind to yourself as well, because being mean to yourself is not going to get you anywhere. You have to be, I know it sounds so obvious, but people still do this thing where they're mean to themselves, hoping they're going to change, when that's not what's going to happen. You have to be nice to yourself and gentle with yourself sometimes, especially if you're facing a really difficult time and you're just trying to push through and you're trying to get through it all. Like, I understand, I've been there, and I understand how hard it can be to try and pull yourself out from somewhere like that. So just know that so many other people are trying to better themselves and improve themselves and grow as well as you are. And, it'll look different for everyone because everyone has different tastes, everyone has like different habits, different things that do or do not work for them. And it really just is about figuring out what works for you and what does not work for you. And you can try out so many different things. Like maybe if you're a reader, you can read self-help books. I've read a lot myself, like Atomic Habits. I can't remember the author, but it was a really good book about habits and habit building, and it really talks about how even getting 1% better every day is going to help you so much more than doing nothing at all to change. And I think reading books like those, like self-help books, or maybe if you believe in manifestation, like reading those types of books, like if it's something that interests you, go for it. Like just go for it. And I know it's so much easier said than done if you don't have those types of things accessible to you. But if you do happen to have those things accessible to you, or you are able to buy those books, I say do it. Especially like over the summer where you can just lay down outside or on the grass and read a book. I think that's incredible. That might just be me. But just think about if what you are consuming, like self-help books, like is it aligning with what you're trying to improve? Like if you're trying to improve your confidence, are you reading the right types of books that are going to improve your confidence, or are you reading books that are only going to tear you down more? Or are you consuming content that is only going to tear you down more instead of building you up higher and higher and higher? I think just being conscious and being aware of what you're consuming and what you're watching and what you're reading is really going to help you out in the long run. And it's not easy. It can be quite difficult, especially if you're just getting started. But it really just takes time. Be patient with yourself, be patient with different situations going on around you. If you happen to be going on vacation, go relax on that vacation because you deserve it after surviving another long school year, I'm very sure. Now, I'm sure after me saying all this and repeating the same stuff over and over and over again, you're probably asking, but what do I do? What do I do to get started? Like, what if I've already mentioned a few of them already, but I'll give a few examples. If you want to start seeing physical change, like if you want to get better, get more fit, or be more healthy, obviously just a few basic obvious examples I'm sure are working out. Even if you can't go to the gym, you should still try and work out at home. And my best advice for that is to work out in the morning. I know, maybe wake up a bit earlier than you usually do to work out, or maybe even just go outside and like take a few laps around your backyard. That is going to help you a lot. Like it might be something so small to you, but it will really help your body. Just getting that sunlight and walking around and like breathing in that fresh air. Working out in your room is obviously a perfect example as well. It's something I do, and I do it early in the morning when no one is home, so then no one can see me working out in my room all alone. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing embarrassing about it. Even if you think it's embarrassing, I say that in quotation marks. Even if you think it's embarrassing, it's really not, because it shows the type of person you are, like you're willing to put in the effort, you're willing to like keep going and, really not let that embarrassment stop you from doing it. Cuz at the end of the day, so many people work out and like people are more focused about themselves than they are about you. So it doesn't really, you just gotta push through. That's what I'm trying to say. And I will make like another video about embarrassment and confidence, and I have so many other ideas that I'm sure will help someone out there. Going on walks, for mental change, like I mentioned before, reading self-help books that align with how you're trying to change obviously are going to help you if you're a reader, or even just listening to things like this, like that give you perhaps a guide on what to do or give you some ideas on what you can do. You can also, there are motivation books, manifestation books, like I said previously. And you really just have to, something else is just talking, journaling. Journaling can be a really important thing to do, especially over the summer. You can have a little journal, you can sit down, maybe have some tea, just journal your thoughts, or even in your notes app on your phone, you can just type what you feel in the moment, or type how you felt in the past year. Like, I feel like that can help a lot with how you process and deal with your emotions. And you can really, if you look closer into your actions and how you feel really influences how you act and how you behave and how you look physically, I think that will tell you so much more about yourself than that you didn't already know. It might seem obvious to so many people, but some people need to hear that because it's important. Like, really paying attention, be more mindful. Like, be mindful. I feel like that's something that a lot of people maybe are perhaps embarrassed to be, like, really thinking about stuff, being grateful for things, writing down stuff you're grateful for sure is going to help you. Because not only will that help you look at the positive side of things, that's also really going to help you think about what you have in your life and how you can improve what you have in your life to really create the life that you want for yourself, or be the person who you want to be so badly, you know? And of course, you are completely allowed to keep this, like, to work on yourself by yourself, but if you have trouble keeping yourself accountable or holding yourself accountable, you can have someone else kind of come in, text you and remind you of, like, of what your goal is, or remind you, hey, you remember you said you would work out, or maybe have, like, a workout buddy or someone who you're reading the same self-help book as, because we're humans, we're really social animals, so it's like, it's going to help you if you just have someone that you can maybe rely on a bit, or really just turn to if you're having trouble with something. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just make sure it's someone who's going to support you and who will not judge you for trying to better yourself, or perhaps make you feel smaller than you already feel. You just have to be careful about that. Choosing the right person to be your support group in a way. And another really important thing is repetition helps you create a habit. So the more you do something, like, for example, so many people, like, I'm sure you don't notice, you brush your teeth every morning. Like, you've done it so many times for however many years, or at least I hope you have, that it's just something that comes naturally to you. So why is that? It's because you repeated it so many times over and over and over again every single day that it's not going to change. Like, it's going to stay consistent. It's something that stayed consistent throughout your life, even though maybe you've had so many ups and downs. So just keep that in mind. Just really thinking about what you can, repeating those good habits, and keeping yourself in line. And if you're even just working out, like, 10 minutes a day, you're going to see some sort of difference in how you feel, or physically, emotionally, mentally. You're going to see a difference if you just keep repeating it so much to where it becomes a habit. That's something to keep in mind, because people want to see results immediately, but that's not the way a lot of things work. You're not going to see a result immediately if you work out for a day. you need to keep that habit going to see a really good result in the end. And I promise you, it will be worth it when you see that result, when you look in that mirror, or the next time you're not feeling the best, when you're able to pick yourself up a lot quicker, when you're able to have more positive thoughts than negative thoughts, and really, you will see that change with time. You really will. And that's all you have to give it is time. Time and patience are so important to keep in mind, because like time is constantly going and going and going, and you just have to keep going and going and going. So it's like just repetition. That's what I'm trying to say. Repetition. So important. So, and it'll become a habit eventually. Maybe not this summer, but if you keep doing it throughout the school year, it's going to become a habit. And the same can be said for bad habits. If you keep repeating those bad habits, like for example, I'm going to be completely honest, I snooze my alarm every morning. and every morning I snooze my alarm because I'm supposed to be waking up really early, but I just keep snoozing and snoozing and snoozing, and I've done it for a while now. So now it's like my brain thinks it's okay to do it, or that's what I've gotten so used to doing. So I just keep doing it. And it can be hard to break out of habits like those, but just trust me, you will be able to do it. Even if you don't think you can, you will. I promise you, you will. And, ultimately just remind yourself why you're doing this. Remind yourself, what is your end goal? What am I trying to achieve by doing this? Or with bad habits, you can ask yourself, what is it stopping me from doing? Because I think really, if you don't see a need to change, you're not going to change. So just remind yourself, maybe have it up on like a little sticky note, like your goal. Like maybe your goal could be anything, as long as it's a positive goal that's going to influence you positively for the rest of your life, obviously. It's gonna ultimately be super important to just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, until you are able to see those results. Or since you have this whole 2 or 3 months of summer to really lock in and really plan and take action whenever you need to, I think that's something really important that you have to keep in mind, that you have to do. It's never going to be so as easy as you think, and that's okay. And you honestly just have to keep going. Like it's gonna, in the back of your mind, you just have to remind yourself it's going to happen. It's going to be great, and everything's gonna work out. I know it's probably difficult if you're struggling right now a lot, but just remember, everything is going to be okay. If you just gotta be patient. Just be patient and just let things happen as they do, because things are difficult. I know. I've been through it. I've been through this entire self-help journey and just really confidence boosting journey, in the span of a summer, like I mentioned previously, in summer before my sophomore year. I did all of that. I took all those risks. I decided to take all these steps and take the action I needed, and that's why I am where I am today. And I know there's so many other people who have the potential to be greater and to be better if they just try. And all it takes is just trying. Even if you don't succeed, don't take it as a failure. Take it more as a learning experience. What can I learn from this that is going to help me next time I try? Because you're going to have to get up and try again if you want to get better, if you want to see those results. What can I do better? What can I improve? What can I adjust to really, so it really aligns with who I want to be? And that's how you are going to ultimately better yourself for the summer. It's gonna take a lot, but I know you guys can do it. Whoever's listening to this, you can do it. Remember that. That's all I have to say about this. Obviously, it seems very broad. I can make perhaps another episode about more specific things about this. If anyone has any questions, I'm on Instagram, Path to Progress Jenny, I'm pretty sure, something like that. That's the very first episode of the Path to Progress podcast with me. Bettering yourself over the summer. You got this. Remember that. Keep that in mind. And I will see you in the next episode or on my Instagram stories where I usually hang out and ask what you guys want to see next. If you have any recommendations, don't be afraid to DM me or anything like that. I'm more than happy to look, and I already have a bunch of different ideas for different episodes that I think would be really helpful and all of that. So, yeah, just I hope you watch the next episode. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff. I don't do this for the fame. It's gonna sound bad, cringy. I don't do this for the fame. I do this to help one person out there who might need the help. That's the only reason why I do it. So yeah, I'll see you guys